All right, we're back for episode 5. You can tell it's been a while because I've got a little beard going at the moment. But it's going to be a short one. I'm planning a big one. Next one's going to be a big one. It's going to be about God, right? Crazy large topic. So I'm taking my time with that one. Trying to read up, study up. The book I will be referencing the most is called Behold the Spirit by Alan Watts. If any of you want to get on that in the meantime, it'll probably come out it'll be next week. But this episode is just going to be a short one, just about discipline. It's going to be a simple one. I mean, this podcast is about growth, and I want this podcast to eventually be kind of a library where you can go to, just remember the important values and morals in life. And discipline is something that's very important for everyone to have. So, I don't know. I mean, it starts with the little things for sure. But if you feel like you're lacking discipline right now, it's important to take care of the little things. Clean your house, clean your space, take care of yourself. Make sure you're good first, for sure, and then make sure everything else around you is good. But discipline isn't really, that's like base level discipline, right? It's just taking care of yourself. But eventually, you're going to want to get, that should just be normal. That's just what you should do, is take care of yourself. But there is another discipline that's required for things that are much harder that I think we need to kind of encourage, not, just in our own lives and in the lives around us, which is, going to the gym, being on a healthy diet, especially if you live in the U.S. I don't know who's listening to this from where, but in the U.S., we've got a lot of, a healthy diet isn't necessarily pushed on us. We don't have like a sugar tax or anything like that. We have a lot of unhealthy food, a lot of bad options, obviously. And so it's important to take care of yourself in a way that you're actually getting better. And going to the gym is important too, especially when it comes to discipline. The gym is a great way to build your discipline because it's difficult. It will always benefit you. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck, but it's always going to benefit you. Even if you're tired, even if you're sore, there's always a muscle to hit. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that I do to make sure, just to know that I have discipline, is just going to the gym every single day. I don't miss a day. I very seldom take rest days. It's been and this isn't to brag or anything. It's been a few months, but my point is just that, you don't always have to go 100%, and you can say oh, it's going to kill your gains or whatever, but you shouldn't be in it just for how you look. I don't think that's very good. Unless you want to be a bodybuilder, sure. Train Mike Mentor's, 6 sets a week. But for people who just want to work hard and just kind of gain that discipline, going to the gym every day is a great way to build it. And even if you don't know what you're doing, I think that's why a lot of people never start, is because it feels intimidating to go somewhere that you don't normally go, to do shit that you don't usually do. And it feels scary. It feels because you're an outcast, right? Everyone in there is it feels like they know what they're doing. They've been in there, but it's just just watch a YouTube video. Literally, if you're watching this and you don't go to the gym and you're scared to, just look up Sam Sulek, and he'll post he does a split, right? If you don't know what that is, that's working your individual muscles over the course of different days. So one day is chest, one day is back, one day is arms, one day is legs, right? Just look at his split, watch one split, and just take all of his workouts. He looks, he's a successful influencer in the sense that he could be a bodybuilder. He probably will be, but he has a great physique and a great work ethic. So, if you're really that intimidated, just look up Sam Sulek and do that. But back to what I was saying about discipline and building it in the gym, because the gym is a great representation of the things that you will need to do to get to your goals, right? And so we kind of talked about this in episode 1 and 2. It's like you have to suffer to get the things that you want. And so you kind of have to you have to make sacrifices. And one of those sacrifices can be, a good way to simulate that sacrifice by going to the gym every day. Because you realize, then you can take that somewhere else. Like, sometimes I don't want to record. Sometimes, I don't want to sit in front of a camera. I don't feel like, you know what I mean? Sometimes I just don't want to do shit, and that's fine. But it's like, you have to just get up and do it, Sometimes I don't want to go to the gym. Plenty of times I don't want to go to the gym. And I box, too, so sometimes I'll be sore, my elbows will hurt, my joints will hurt, and I'll still do what I can. Because it's it's not about what I want to do in the moment. It's about what I want long term, Because if I want something, but I don't want to do what I need to do to get it, how bad do I really want the thing? And so you need to assess that, because you'll realize how many things you want that you're not willing to work for. And I feel like we like to idolize things in our heads and idolize things that we're going to do that we will never have the discipline to do. But we just kind of daydream and live in this fog of oh, eventually I'll get there, and time passes and nothing happens. You have to take action. You have to do something. You have to have discipline. That's a big part of discipline, is just taking action and just doing it. Don't think, just do it. Don't, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to finish this set. I don't want to finish this rep. It's one more. It's one more. You have it and you just do it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I want to take a rest day. Just go. Just eat a big meal, wait a little bit, and go. You'll be fine. You'll feel fine. Do abs. Do cardio and leave. You know what I'm saying? It's there's no reason to slack off. Your body can take much more than you think it can take. Your mind can take in 10x what you think it can take. So push yourself every single day. And there's something, Joe Rogan said something great about this. He was talking about physical pursuit. He said there's a purity in physical pursuit, because it shows when you're willing to quit. It shows when you're willing to stop. It shows when you're willing to say, this hurts too much, I don't want to keep going. And that's important. That's important to know that, because that same measurement is the same one used from where you're at now to where you want to be. How bad do I want it? How much am I willing to go through? How much am I willing to suffer? And those are the questions you have to ask, is just what do I want and what does it take to get there? And do that. And I think also in this society, we're really we all have FOMO. I've noticed this a lot, especially because I don't have social media and I have a lot of friends that do. So kind of from the outside in, it's they have so many friends. There's always something going on. There's always some party. There's always some function. There's always, you know what I'm saying? There's always something happening, and you're always seeing it. They're always posting about it. It's this revolving door of experiences that you could have that you forget entirely what you should be doing. And so that's important too, is just narrowing your vision, stepping away from all of the things. It's another part of discipline. It's just saying yes to the things that you need to do to get where you want to go, and saying no to the things that won't get you there. And back to the Joe Rogan quote. I don't know if I finished it even. I just went off on a tangent, but it's talking about this purity in physical pursuits, because it shows when you're willing to quit. And it's a measure of your discipline, because we all know, at least, okay, the gym again, for example. If you've been in the gym for a while, you train till failure, something that I do. You know that failure is when you just can't do it anymore. When you get to failure, you're just there's no way I would have hit that under any circumstances. It was coming down, the weight was coming down, right? And it takes discipline to get there. Because all the reps before that are reps where you're all right, I could stop here. And there's a good, I actually don't know his name, but his podcast is Modern Wisdom. It's a really good one. I'm trying to think of his name, but I'm not going to remember it. He said, man, what did he say? That was so good. Oh, and now I forget it. Come on. I don't remember. I forgot. It slipped out of my mind. But discipline is important. I just wanted to, get on here and use what voice I might have to just remind y'all, like, I know it's wintertime, maybe where you're at it's cold and it sucks and there's, ice or snow or whatever the case. There'll never be a time where you want to do everything you need to do. Just do it, okay? You don't want to do it anyway. You're scared to do it anyway. You're angry, just take a minute and do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to just have that drive and have that capacity and have that will and have that strength to say, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm going to do it. So, yeah. And as far as, if you are listening in the U.S., I feel like the gym and a healthy lifestyle isn't too common. A lot of people just don't really think about it because they don't understand the benefits of like having that discipline. But there are more benefits than just physical. Honestly, the gym for me it's like 50% physical, 50% mental. Because also it's like, I don't know, hitting a PR, things like that, like breaking your limits does wonders for the mental. Because you might feel like your life is stagnant. You might feel like, this or that. That's another thing, like to escape a stagnant life, you have to continually push your limits, right? Because the breaking of those limits is what feels like change and causes movement. So you have to continually push your limits, like in everything, in every direction you want to push your limits, right? You want to learn more, you want to love more, you want to lift more, you want to do everything more. Just push your limits as a person, because it's like, you're not going to be here for long, you're not going to be here forever. And so have the discipline to do what you need to do now so that you can leave a meaningful footprint. And another thing is like, you got to do it for your kids too, Like there's a lot of people that are going to come after you that might look up to you. Like you have to be willing to say like, okay, this isn't just about me. This isn't just about how I feel and what I want in the moment. This is about what I could be to other people, because that will always be greater than what you could be to yourself. And that's just the truth of the matter, because like there's nothing you could get for yourself and by yourself that would be as great as love. Because I don't know, there's just, it's like love just seems to be like the apex of a constant life, right? Like if you live a life of love and joy and peace, like you're living a good life. Like there's not much that can interfere with that, And so that's what you should strive for. And in doing that, you must do things for others. And it's not like being a people pleaser or being like a slave to others. It's being disciplined. It's providing a light, letting people look up to you. Like become something. Jordan Peterson had this interesting idea, which I like, I hold dear to for sure. I would put it on this board if I had any room, but he says, if you really want a good goal, and he directed this at young men, but I'm sure this could help anybody, but he said, if you really want to set a high goal and set a high standard for the person that you should be the strongest man at your father's funeral. And that, as a man, I'm sure as a man, to any of you men listening, and not to single anybody out or like disclude anyone, but as a young man, that means a lot, because it's like your name and your legacy bear so much weight that it's like that's when I have to be the strongest, you know what I mean? But it's like, absolutely, absolutely, that's when you have to be the strongest. You want to be the shoulder that's leaned on, because you have that ability and you have that strength, not because it's what's best for you, because maybe what's best for you to like feel better is to, cry at the funeral and be the weakest person there, and let everything get to you and just let it out. But I have to disagree with that, because I think that your legacy and who you're going to be, who you are to other people is more important than who you are to yourself. But man, it's just tough to say that and not have it taken in a way that's like, give yourself to everybody. No, it's be something that everyone can reflect on and want more of for themselves. You know, be so strong that everyone's like, holy cow, like, I should be strong because he's strong when he shouldn't be. You know, be that person. Be that person. Have that discipline. To be strong when you don't want to eat well when you don't want to not eat when you shouldn't eat, to, you know, do what you need to do. Have the discipline because your legacy depends on it, you know, and the people that are going to love you in the future depend on it. And it's important and it should be, you know, and I hope that reaches someone in a meaningful way, because it's definitely a meaningful imprint and idea to me that I'm, you know, that I work for the people that will be in my future, because they deserve it. You know, it's like you don't want to grow into a burden. You know what I mean? Like, you want to grow out of your, like, just shed the weight of the things that hurt people and hurt yourself. Just shed the weight of all of the bad things, you know, and become as good as you can. And it takes a shit ton of discipline. So, and again, I want everyone to know that discipline is not some trait that you're born with. It's not something that, you know, like just random people. It's something that's built by the act of will. I feel like discipline is sort of like, discipline is the strength of your will, essentially. Right? Because you have the ability to logistically think about your future and what you want. And then you have your will. The will to choose to do what you need to do to get it, or to choose not to. And so, you know, every day you're faced with two options and you pick a choice. You know, you do what you should do, or you do what you want to do. And they're usually not the same thing, but sometimes they are. You know, and that's eventually what you want you want that to merge. You want those to cross over. You want eventually to be so disciplined that it becomes your baseline, and that you just kind of, like, now that I've been going to the gym for so long and I'm on a pretty good diet right now, it's like, it's just the baseline. It's just what I do. And all I really notice are the results. I don't really notice the discipline. I don't really notice the active discipline anymore. It's just kind of like how I am. You know, and you can build that for yourself, and you should build that. Everyone should build that. And, you know, just be a better person for the people around you. And that starts with being better by yourself, for yourself. I remember Duncan Trussell talked about that a lot. He would always say that the best thing you can do for other people, the only way to help other people, is to help yourself. You know, and you'll realize after you help yourself that all of those problems that they had that you saw have been solved. It's interesting. We lead by, when we feel like we should help someone, it implies to them that something is wrong with them, you know? Like, when you try and heal a wound, when you try and tend to a wound, there will always be a wound. You know, like, that's just the relationship of a healer, right? Is that someone must be sick, right? And so you just kind of have to merge that, you know? You have to kind of be that, like, self-automated, like, self-driving, like, building yourself, you know, loving yourself. Not loving, but, like, growing, right? Because we can't necessarily love ourselves. I wouldn't say we could. But yeah, that's it. Short episode on discipline. I hope all of y'all are getting after it and doing what you need to do, and not doing just what you want to do, you know. And it's tough, but this is always a place where, and also on the Patreon, there's a chat room. If someone's having trouble with discipline, we'll fucking, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk that shit out. I'll send you my workout split or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for episode 5. Episode 6 will be big. Big episode coming. Much longer than this one. I don't know how long this one is. I can't see the camera, but I'm out. Peace.